Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer and welcome to F1 2018. I know this is kind of an odd screen to jump in on, but we're going to create a character here and I want to show you some of the new things that are going on in the game. So let's just make this, enter new name, we'll just call it Test. All right, avatar, doesn't matter. That guy helmet, doesn't matter. You got it. America, driver number, name, Test, driver, abbreviated name, guy, audio name, Adams, register details, and in we go. So we go to career, and this is all very similar to F1 2017. We'll just say Ferrari, Seb Vettel. There you go. This is all similar to what we've all seen in F1 2017, so I'm just going to bomb right through this. And this is the part that I wanted you to see. That this is a little bit different than F1 2017, but not a whole lot. Loading. There we go. And I'll let this roll through.
Thanks for coming by. I'm sure you're very anxious to get out on track. It's taken a lot of effort to get to F1. Congratulations. But the real work starts now. This is...
Claire, motorsports journalist. Nice to meet you. You'll be seeing quite a lot of me throughout the season. So, you had a pretty impressive junior career. How are you feeling about your move into F1? Do you think you have what it takes?
Let's save the questions for a proper interview, shall we? I'm sure you'll have a lot more to talk about once there's been some action on track. I think we could fit you in after FP1 if you're free.
That works for me. I'll grab you the second you finish on the track.
Remember, the relationship you have with the team can be affected by what you say to the media, so be careful. Anyway, it's time to catch up with Carl. He's waiting for you in the data center. Good luck out there today.
So that's new, Claire, and I'll tell you about her in a second. Here's my man.
Welcome to the data center. Here, we've got access to all kinds of information, including car telemetry, weather, lap times, tire wear, the list goes on. Plus, we've got a direct link back to the factory, so we're in constant communication with the team there. We need you to regularly feedback about areas of the car that are lacking and help us direct our resources in the most productive way. More effort here equals a quicker car, so it's well worth the effort. Good luck this season. Oh, and make us all look good, okay?
You got it. Right. So this is taking the place of the laptop, or what was the laptop?
Welcome to your new team. There's
Right.
no one with a more storied history than Ferrari. You're going to have to give it everything to live up to that heritage. It's going to be hard work, but when you see the Tifosi cheering you at Monza, it'll all be worth it.
Right. So this is the laptop from last year, and it's pretty straightforward. Some things have moved around, but it's essentially the same.
Here you can see the pertinent details about your
Alright.
current contract. On one side are the objectives and bonuses that we've negotiated with the team. On the other is information regarding how you're perceived throughout the paddock, your reputation with the current team, and your overall value to them, which is a combination of these elements.
So one thing I can tell you is Claire, the journalist, what you can see in the bar there where it says sportsmanship and showmanship, she'll ask you questions. You get a variety of answers that you can send back to her, and depending on how you answer, that determines, I guess, part of your reputation, which determines the contracts that you get offered. So other than that,
Winning rivalries
really-
is a great way to
Yep.
earn respect from your team and around the paddock, which will help make it easier to negotiate favorable contracts. Your first rival is always your teammate, but you can choose who to declare as your second. The harder the rival from the eligible selection, the more respect you stand to gain or lose depending on the result.
there you go. So that's a little bit different. The rivalry structure and the R&D tree is more or less the same. One thing that I do like about it, though, is a lot of things are grayed out. Something that I didn't like about F1 2017 is you got to see everything at once, and it was sort of overwhelming, particularly when so many of those things you didn't have access to anyway. So I feel like this system is a little cleaner, and I like that. I appreciate it. So that's that. And then we've got right here, the spares that we get are a little bit different. You used to have 4 of everything last year. Now you can see you've got 3 ICEs, 2 MGU-K, 3 MGU-H, 2 energy stores, which I assume is the battery. And that's, the ERS is a little bit different this year as well, or I say different, I mean there really was no ERS in F1 2017. But there is ERS, and I'll get to that in a second. Gearbox, same. Tire allocation, same. So that's all pretty much the same. We've got some messages here. And let's see, Carl, Emma, Carl, and then Jeff is our crew chief. So I'll hop out of this, and what I'm going to do is, I've already created a character, and I'm going to race as Williams again this year. But what I'll do is hop out of this, and then I'm just going to hop into like a Renault or something and do a quick 5-lap race. And I'll tell you a little bit more about the gameplay and what I think of the game, like as it actually plays, as we do that quick 5-lap race. So see you in a minute.
The Red Bull team are ready and waiting to celebrate a thoroughly well-deserved win. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
Well, I think the track conditions just really suited their car today. Wind, track temperature, you name it. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature. So the more easily you can keep them there, the better your race tends to go. And that's exactly what happened. Their car just looks so comfortable out there.
And I can see now the drivers are making their way out. We need Red Bull fighting at the front. They do an incredible amount for Formula One. And that's another winner's trophy heading back to Milton Keynes. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
I'm going to go for Marcus Ericsson. He's clearly got a very delicate touch in close proximity to other cars, and he's matured a lot over the past few seasons, which served him well today.
That's it for today's Grand Prix, and from Ant and I, it's goodbye, and see you again next time.
All right, so we'll hop in on a replay here. And let me just, right there. Yep. So we'll hop in on a replay, and I can tell you a couple more things that I've noticed about the game. So F1 2017, I was running Reshade and SweetFX. And I was getting 50 to 60 FPS consistently with 19 cars in the grid. We're not running Reshade and SweetFX, and replay is a little bit different, but in-game, I'm getting between 80 and 90 FPS. Now, admittedly, Reshade and SweetFX is some pretty aggressive post-processing, or it can be. So it could be that that's the difference. I don't know. The game seems optimized. It seems to play faster and smoother and look better. So that is a definite bonus. Really liking that. This is a fantastic looking game. No denying it. My settings are all, I'm on a GeForce GTX 1050, and my settings are all high with a couple of ultra here and there. When I installed the game, it put everything on medium with a couple of highs, but I know F1 2017 I can run, like I said, high with a couple ultras, and I did. I think the game looks fantastic. I've always loved the way this game looks. It seems like there's a little bit more particulate in the air, right? It seems like it's got a little bit more mist and diffusion in the distance, and to me that gives a real realistic look. I love it. Still no overlay, still no leaderboard on the replay, which will be a constant source of frustration for me because I like to do replays and talk over those rather than talk over race play, and I have no idea. I mean, I know approximately what's going on, but it doesn't, there's no way for you to know what's going on, so it doesn't really have that sort of drama that a race has where you're kind of wondering what's going to happen and how it's all going to turn out. You can't really say anything, but that's neither here nor there. That's for a YouTuber, that's not for a player. So as far as playing the game, it's awesome. It's fantastic. I love it. What else? If you're into F1 2017, everything transfers straight across. I put in all my same graphic settings. I put in all the same settings for my wheel, and I was up and playing in 5 minutes, no problem. ERS, I will say, is going to take a little bit of learning, and in fact, if we can hop in car, camera is these. Yep, if we hop in car, so we do have the ERS gauge now, and ERS recovers through braking, and I think it may pull some power off of the engine when you're coasting. Don't quote me on that, but at any rate, you need to manage your ERS settings, and you can either set it to auto in bobble. You can either set it to auto when you set your difficulty and your assists, but then you will not be able to adjust it. And what I got was my Jeff was in my ear like the whole race telling me to change, not this race, but my Williams race, telling me to change my ERS, and I couldn't because it was locked in on auto. So if you set that to manual, you need to, it's similar to your fuel mix, so you need to mess with it during the race to make sure that it's doing what it needs to do. And there's a hot lap mode, there's an overtake mode, there's a recovery mode, I think. So it's like managing your fuel maps. You just need to be aware of it, and you will have your crew chief in your ear if you start to like focus on the race and kind of lose sight of the ERS. It's like the fuel map. You know, if you run rich mix too long, Jeff will get in your ear and tell you, hey man, you're gonna run out of gas. You gotta go to map 2 or whatever. And he'll do the same thing with ERS. So that is very cool. I haven't played the game long enough to see what is going to happen with Reputation, but I know Claire the reporter, how you interact with her does determine your reputation, and I imagine that will influence how you get contracts with teams and getting promoted to first driver and various other things. So all of that, honestly, to me, the reputation stuff, that's all secondary to the gameplay. I want a race sim, and as a race sim, it's amazing. I know some people say, oh, it's silly, it's an arcade game. I don't see it that way, man. I think it's unbelievable as a sim, and it may not have the most realistic physics, but it is extremely immersive and very, very fun to play. So I like that. Those are all the upsides. It looks better, it plays faster, it's got some added reputation features and some added sort of off-track stuff. Those are all the positive things. I will have to say I've been waiting like 2.5 months for this to come out, 3 months, and I paid full retail for it, $60, and I would say this ought to be a patch, because this is essentially F1 2017 with a couple things changed, and then it's got Circuit Paul Ricard and a Hockenheim added, it's got the Halo added, and a couple drivers are on different teams. I'm not bashing it, and I don't regret getting it, but in a logical world, this would be a $20 DLC, the 2018 season DLC. It would not be, try to give him room right there, it would not be a standalone $60 video game, because it really is F1 2017. Now, I got to thinking about like FIFA and Madden and various other things, and they do a radical evolution of those games every 8 or 10 years. You know, they'll go to a new engine, or they'll go to a new graphics, something, rendering, whatever. But for the most part, year to year, those games really don't change. They just have things added that reflect the previous year in that real life sport. And that's cool. I've seen some YouTubers over the past few weeks reviewing this game, and obviously they got pre-release copies from Codemasters. And those people were saying, this is the greatest game ever, ever, ever. And I don't know if I'll ever be that kind of YouTuber. First off, I don't know if I'll ever be big enough to get pre-release games from developers, but when I looked online, it's not a new physics engine, it's not a new graphics engine, there's nothing radically different about the game. It's got 2 new tracks, some drivers have moved, it's got the Halo, and it's got some additional things off track, and that's it. So, is it the greatest F1 sim ever? Well, arguably Codemasters has the greatest F1 franchise sim ever, and it's the next version of that. So I guess in a technical sense, yeah, you could say that it's the most up-to-date copy of a game in like the F1 franchise of all F1 franchises. So in that sense, I guess it's technically true, but like, is it radically different than F1 2017? No, it's well worth it, but I was expecting like a big change based on those YouTubers, and it's not. It continues the quality that Codemasters puts out, but it's by no means like anything radically different than F1 2017. But so it goes, you know? And I think we did, what, like 2 laps outside the camera, 2 laps inside? Yeah, close enough. Okay, so that's the end of our race. We did win, yay us. And let's call it an episode. So this is F1 2018. I do recommend it. Buy it. You'll like it. I'm going to be doing career mode in the Williams. And I got my work cut out for me because this game very accurately reflects real life. And the Williams in 2018 is a dog. Ugh. I got my work cut out for me. And I'll actually send this your way as I wrap up the video. You know, I want to make F1 videos and put them on YouTube, right? I don't expect to win every race. If you play as Williams, if you drive for Williams, if you do the development programs, you do them essentially by yourself. You do them during practice, and you get points and you can build the car. But I don't anticipate finishing, like, I don't expect to see a podium in 2018. That's realistic, and that's a lot of fun to do off camera, but I don't know if that's actually something you'd want to watch. So give me some feedback on that. Let me know what you think. First off, let me know what you think of F1 2018. And then let me know what you think of me racing as Williams and just racing. We're not going to have a lot of great finishes this year. What do you think of that? There you go. Folks, thanks for stopping back to check out The Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for our first episode of F1 2018. And we'll see you next time. Take care.